Hi Simmers, and welcome to another random speed build. In today's video, we are building a nightclub, an abandoned nightclub to be exact. But that means we're actually building just a nightclub that I then go ahead and trash up a lot to make it look abandoned by using a bunch of debug items and a bunch of CC. So yeah, buckle up for that. The idea came to me because my friend actually, after the cottagecore mushroom video that I made, suggested that maybe I can make more builds based on aesthetics. And I thought, yeah, that's an actually fun idea. And she suggested I try liminal spaces because they're pretty interesting. And I had no idea what that was, so she kind of explained to me and then I looked it up. She gave me like a bunch of reference pictures. It was pretty interesting to get into, and I thought, yeah, I could definitely do that in The Sims if I get CC. You can do anything in The Sims if you get CC. Anyways, the liminal spaces refers to like an abandoned place. That's the general idea. It has to be abandoned or look abandoned, feel abandoned. That gives off an unsettling, pretty weird vibe, very eerie, kind of like a transitional space that looks like it's taking you out of this world, and it's pretty weird. It's a lot of the images you see in horror movies. I feel like they've got a lot of those there with hospitals, especially when they've got like long white hallways with flickering very dim lights, or airports that are abandoned, a lot of stuff like that. So basically that's the inspiration. I'm not very familiar with the aesthetic, and I am not an exceptionally talented Sims builder. I just have fun with it and I am completely mediocre, but in the end I think that it gives off the right vibe, at least to me, for what I had in mind, so I am pretty pleased with what it came out with. The first idea was to actually build a pool that's abandoned, and the pool would have been overgrown with a lot of plants coming out and a lot of trash inside of it and stuff like that, because one of the reference pictures that my friend showed me was of an abandoned pool, or I suppose it was abandoned, from Euphoria, like the TV show, and I really liked it. But when I went ahead on Google to look at the reference pictures, all these neon lights came up, and I don't know why, but whenever I see neon lights, I think of nightclubs. So I kind of like went ahead from there and made it a nightclub. I think it was the right choice, for me at least, especially in the scene. But to be completely fair, it took me hours to build this. First of all, because I'm a very slow builder and it takes me like, I don't know, 2 hours to build a blue suburban or something. But also because I had no idea what kind of shape a nightclub should be. Because all the nightclubs that Google showed me and that I know of are in blocks, or at the basement of blocks, or they're very townhouse-like. So I had no idea what a nightclub in the middle of nowhere like Newcrest would look like. So I kind of winged it, and I'm not good at winging the general shape of the house. In this case, the club. In the end, it sort of works out. I wanted it to look interesting, and this kind of slowed me down a lot, because for some reason the platforms decided to play tricks on me. I did not use a lot of platforms actually. I used a few on the roof, but those were fine. But I wanted to place that stage downstairs that you can see, and for some reason everything kept breaking. As you can see now, we have no floors, but then I was trying to have this very open space so you could see the the stage from the upper floor, which worked fine for a while, but then the platform where the stage was supposed to go for some reason disappeared, even though I wasn't even on that floor or doing anything there. It was so frustrating. Like, I can't even explain to you how frustrating it was. I also didn't realize until much later, and I had to go back and change it. And when I tried to change the stage, the walls disappeared, and after the walls disappeared, the floors started disappearing again. And then I put floors where I could put floors, but for some reason it wouldn't let me put floors everywhere. I had no idea why it did that. Okay, I think you can tell how frustrated I still am, even though it's been like a day or two. I don't understand why The Sims sometimes does that. I don't. Or maybe I'm just stupid with platforms. I mean, that could be a thing. I haven't used them all that much, mostly because every time I tried to use them, something of this kind happened. And also because I don't usually build builds that would make sense to have a platform inside. And as you can see here, we've got 3 triangles, and I try to build the floor around them so much. It didn't want to, it just refused, and in the end I just placed another platform there to cover it up, and it worked. But also, why did I have to place a platform to cover up that shit? And also, why was it 3 triangles? They weren't... I don't know how that happened. And as you can see here, I'm having another problem with the floor because I have to delete this triangle here, but every time I do, this little part also gets the ceiling disappear. And I know why it does that, because it's the same room, but every time I tried to make it another room, it didn't want to. I kind of managed in the end. And even the first time that I built the stage, the wall behind it disappeared, which I know it does, but it wouldn't let me build it again unless I deleted the platform. And in the end, it worked by just drawing the walls on the whole room, and then it let me build the wall. But again, it made no sense. Anyways, enough of me ranting about why I can't use platforms. I don't know what was in my head when I placed those 2 parrots with the cocktail shit on top of the nightclub. It looks, first of all, like shit, and 2, nothing like the aesthetic I'm trying to get inspired by. But no worries, I actually deleted those and put something else instead, which makes a lot more sense. Yay for me. And here I am building the bathrooms. I had a lot of trouble with the bathroom too. I don't know why I tried to make them functional, because I could have just not. Because nothing else in this place is functional almost. And in the end, I am pretty sure you can get in at least one of the bathroom stalls because of the mirrors. And in the end, everything is anyway covered in trash, and it won't let you get anywhere. I tried. But here I am placing the stairs. And it was almost as much of a nightmare as the platforms were, because I placed the upper floor on a diagonal. And I have never done something so stupid in my entire life. Placing the upper floor on a diagonal is just a no-no. I should have just placed the ground floor on a diagonal. That would have made more sense, but I was already halfway in. I wasn't gonna change that, but I was so frustrated because I was trying to make the stairs make sense. In the end, they don't. I just let them do whatever the fuck they wanted. Place them in the middle of the floor with no sense and purpose whatsoever. I am not even sure you can actually get to the upper floor because they're right in front of a wall, and I put stuff on that wall. It doesn't matter because this club is not actually functional in any way. I actually moved in some Sims at the end because I needed them to kick some trash cans to make it look more dirty and more visited, if you know what I mean. And it was a nightmare because they needed to get angry in order to kick the trash cans, but I couldn't get them angry, not even with cheats, because the place was so dirty that it made them overwhelmingly uncomfortable and miserable, and they wouldn't do anything. So I had to get the sim enraged. So the emotional value of anger was greater than the emotional value of the uncomfortable moodlet. And he died. He freaking died. The Grim Reaper showed up. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't just exit. I couldn't enter build mode. I couldn't do anything because the sim was dying. Also, because the place was so cluttered, the Grim Reaper couldn't actually get to the sim to rip him. I had to reset him manually. It was so dumb. But anyway, moving on from that. This is actually the point where I realized that my platform disappeared, so I tried to put it again, and the wall disappeared. And I tried to build the wall again. Guess what? The platform disappeared. And I tried to build the platform again, and the wall disappeared, and the wall and the platform and the wall and the platform. Why? In the end, I had to build a platform in the middle of the room and drag it so it touches the wall, and it worked. The wall didn't disappear anymore, neither did the platform. But why the hell did I have to do that? Why? I don't understand. This kind of Sims logic is beyond me. I can't wrap my mind around it. Why does it do that? Jesus. Anyways, I was trying very hard to put a bar downstairs, but it wouldn't make sense because I wanted that to be like a dance floor area. So I just skipped thinking about it. So I placed those sized up stereo stations on the platform on the stage, because I didn't want there to be real instruments, because that wouldn't make sense, because even if they were there at some point, they would have been stolen or broken by now. Even though probably the speakers would be too. Tough luck, what can I say? I just went with that and pretended they were speakers, and they're, I don't know, mounted to the wall, too big to move, who the fuck cares? But here I am, going back and forth between placing tables with chairs and couches with coffee tables. Because I don't know why, in my head, it made more sense to have tables and chairs like you would in a normal restaurant or pub or stuff like that. But then I remembered that when I went to the club, they had couches, right? So I placed couches, but I still wanted the chairs. So I placed both, but it's very crowded. I am pretty sure you cannot move. There's two little couches, two little chairs. It's a mess. I think that the more we progress in this video, it is very clear to see that I have been to the club 2 times and I hated both of them. So I have no idea what the club is supposed to actually look like, right? Does it look anything like a club? I don't know. And I finally replaced those ugly ass cocktail shits. Oh, and here we have a missing floor again. And for some reason, when I tried placing the actual floor, it was glitching and it wouldn't let me place it on the whole room. It made no sense. But I gave them a smoking area, even though Sims cannot smoke. But that's fine, because then again, you cannot even walk on this lot. But it was good because I had an excuse to place some more lights that would give it that eerie night vibe that I so desired. And here I come back to the bar, I think. Please tell me I just take it off the dancing floor. But what I do end up doing is just, deleting the archway and placing the bar there, and then getting those bottle shelves and placing those there too. I think having a bar downstairs would be more important than having 3 archways that make no sense to begin with. Even though one of the bars that I did place downstairs is right upon the entrance, which also makes no sense, and I made a waiting room to the bathroom, which also doesn't make much sense. Although, in one of those 2 times that I did actually go to a nightclub, they had this like huge bathroom with a waiting area inside, with very fancy huge princess chairs to sit and do your makeup on, and this huge pink hot pink couch, and every girl was just hanging around in there, because honestly it was much better than what was in the actual club. What can I say? I went to a club once and I enjoyed the bathroom. Awesome. And I think this is actually the place where I start to clutter up, which is amazing, because right now it looks very blunt and ordinary, and there's nothing remotely unique or special about this build. So I went ahead and searched through the debug items, and I placed a lot of stuff. And when I did not feel like I have enough, I went ahead and got CC. Because nothing saves a build like CC. Yes, I know I already said something like that, but it's true. But before I did get into the CC, I tried to make it work with the clutter in the game. I tried. It wouldn't have worked. I'm sorry. Even though most of the dirt that is going on in this place is actually just the trash that you see me put here. I placed a lot of trash, and it was great, because up until this point it was very boring, but once I did start to place the trash, it all started coming together, like, yes, this is a place that I built to trash up. That's awesome. But anyway, you're going to see me for like a minute or two actually just placing trash all over, and then I go get the CC, place it, but I skipped ahead because it took forever to do. And also I made the outside, which I'm actually very proud of, because I had no idea what I wanted it to look like, and I thought it would be horrible. But it actually came out pretty okay. It's a place I would avoid, which is what I was going for. But this is it for today. I hope you enjoyed, and that's kind of it. See you!